I don't know where to start. It's mainly about an ill-assorted couple, but who fall in love and who are totally dependent on each other and yet find it difficult to be together. So it's about love. It's about history, politics, authoritarian politics, about exile, about music. What else?
And sometimes journalists said it's about impossible love.
Impossible love, yeah. At the heart of it is the impossibility of love in the physical world.
And this movie is about music, because at the first rehearsal, Paweł told us the main character in this movie, it will be music.
So they don't get ideas, you know. Yeah. I try to make a film as organically as possible. So at the heart of it is this couple, this relationship, the story. You know. So and then you have the story, which is complicated. So how do you tell it so you don't get bogged down in a kind of biopic-y kind of scenes, you know, that explain too much? And how do you turn this beautiful, complicated story into good cinema, you know, rather than just storytelling, you know. So how do you tell it elliptically, focus on strong scenes that can be told visually in images, with music, with sound, to have dialogues that are not weighed down with information. You know, usually in these sort of films that span a long time, people kind of explain how they got from A to B. But here we wanted the dialogues to be like an extra layer, but not to be essential to feed information. And how do you make it visually as strong as possible, you know, not have scenes which are kind of static and so it's just by kind of a long process of refining, condensing, just thinking of music is a very important element. So, you know, what song goes where, you know, how will it help the story, how will it enchant us and the audience. It's just a long process with many elements, you know. And then with each scene, you know, how do we shoot it from the best angle without coverage, which kind of spoils the magic, you know, just from one angle where the actors are good and expressive, but also where the image does its job. Well, we spend a lot of time just talking about it, no? And reading different versions of the script, because the script was changing.
From my perspective, it was two ways of working with preparations. The work with Marcin Masecki, with the pianist, great pianist, and learned this everything, conducting. And the second way,
Tomasz even learned a piece by Debussy,
yeah.
de Lune, which we didn't use, which was a bit disappointing. But yeah, but anyway, he learned to play, and you know.
Yeah, and the second way, it was, we read all the time the script, and with a little changes, and another time and another time. So it was a few months, and we just were in this script, and we know every version, every subtle difference between these versions. So it was a new experience, and it was really good for actor, you know, to know so much about script.
Yeah. No, and the script kept evolving, and working with them or just spending time, you know, bought time to reimagine things all the time, you know. Sometimes we even did some rehearsals. We went to a park and tried out a scene and stuff, but it was all pretty loose. The key was that for 6 months they did nothing, no other jobs, you know, so they were kind of slowly sinking into the world of the film, you know, through music. Joanna, on the other hand, went to practice her dancing with a folk ensemble, Mazowsze, whom we used quite a lot in our film, you know. So she spent like twice a week. She went there and learned the choreography, the steps, and the mentality of a collective. You know, she became friends with all these singers and dancers, and learned how it feels to be a member of a collective. And she understood why Zula would be very happy in that world, and why Zula wouldn't necessarily want to escape to the West. You know, so it was also like a good mental rehearsal for the character. And I spent a lot of time just meeting them, and while, you know, listening to the text and just kind of coming up with ever new ideas, and spending some time with Marcin Masecki and our musical rehearsals, and also jamming a bit and imagining, okay, if we did this like this, or, you know, just. But basically, it was all hands-on stuff with actors, with the location scouting and the images, and with the music. But a long organic process, basically.
So it was really difficult, but I think the most difficult for me was conducting. You know, I never expected.
It looks easy, no?
No, it's
You'd
not.
imagine,
It's
yeah.
not easy, and you know, Paweł comes from documentary movies, so I needed to be like a
100%.
conductor, 100%. It was almost impossible. And if you have, for example, 300 extras behind your back, and they are
crew.
hungry and they are wait for dinner, you know, and it's still not enough. It's not okay. It's a very big tension inside your head, but it was challenging, you know. It's a very good experience for me.
Those are the challenge, I think, for all actors, especially those that hadn't worked with me before, because usually, you know, when you have a film that's made in coverage, you know, done with coverage, which is the norm, you know, you just do your bit and then it gets cut and, you know, it's fine. Whereas if you want to capture everything in one image, you know, and a continuous image from the right angle, you know, you really have to be there, you know, you can't just act it, you have to be there. Like, and also you have to be, you don't realize you're part of an image, you know, so it takes some, you know, it's some getting used to this thing, you know, that you really, you know, why there's 30 takes, because everything has to come together. All the actors in the shot, the extras, the image, the lighting. Sometimes, you know, we change the framing, the lighting and the actors, and then cut some lines between take 17 and 19, like say, or added some lines, and then waited for these moments of just magic, you know, where everything comes together in one shot, you know, because that's what makes cinema magical, when things are kind of, and I've got this problem with, because I used to be a documentarist, but a kind of photographic documentarist. I wanted everything to come together beautifully, and for that to happen, for this kind of God-given, graceful kind of accidental looking beauty, you know, you might need, you know, 30 takes to get there, being very unspontaneous indeed.
And Paweł has a special skill, you know. There was one situation, one scene with Jean Balibar. I had a close-up, and I still hear, you know, it's not this, you know, try in different way, and I had to remember some difficult situation from my life, and it was it, you know, and because of it was 20-25 takes, and I tried to trick Paweł, you know, just pretend myself or copy myself from 5 minutes before, and he always knew it's not, you know,
It's like
try better.
Grand Inquisitor.
And I had this one question: how he knows, you know, because everything is the same, and I have full consciousness about my face. So how is possible that he knows it?
We was incredibly surprised that big popular success of the film. You know, like last time I looked was 850,000, maybe more now.
Yes.
And it's people who don't go to see art house necessarily, you know, because I don't know, it's really popular, you know, and it really is heartwarming, you know, that people. The film is quite kind of episodic, or rather elliptic, let's say. It's black and white. It's a lot is unspoken, you know. It doesn't really guide you 100%, and people still got into it and went to see it a few times. You know, it's really, it really cheered me up, no end. You know.